Hello, gaming tankers. The time has come for me to weigh in on my opinion of the FV4005, the Cold War version, because a lot of players don't like it. They believe it should be in Era 2. They find it toxic. It is thought to be detrimental to the progress of new players because of its, um, you know, one-shot garage boom snout with at 183 millimeters and having been brought over from a battleship. Yeah, I can see where the controversy surrounding this tank comes from, but I guess in the minority and think it is absolutely okay to fine where it is. It is a large tank. It has a turret the size of a the size of a house, and it is too much of a bullet magnet for air 2. Go play the Object 120, because I think a lot of people complain about the FV4005 and how it needs to be in air 2. Have not played the Object 120, and because of that, they don't understand why it's the FV4005 wouldn't work in Air 2. Allow me to demonstrate why the FV4005 is better suited in Era 1 than it is in Era 2. Now that we've properly seen the power of ATGMs on smaller and faster or possibly better armored vehicles, could you please like and subscribe, share this video? I particularly liked the shared in on FE4211 action. Oh, there is nothing sweeter than ammo racking FE4211. So that's why the it, the FV4005 won't work in Air 2. Now, as for the whole one-shot garage in Air 1, yeah, this takes the place of ATGMs in Air 1, and because of the fact that there is no preparation really in the training mode for, yeah, listen, there's tanks, there's fighting vehicles with the capability of one shot deleting you. There's no gauntlet of dodge the ATGMs for as long as you can and get a special prize if you make it the whole 5 minutes or whatever. There's no take a position, hold it, and oh, sorry, we just taught you in the safe but rather rough, brutal way of the powers of ATGMs. That's where the FV4005 comes in. Now, is there a level of toxicity to this thing? Yes. Yes, there is. We've had matches. I had a match today because of the current contract going that has heavy tanks and tank destroyers being used and required to complete the contract. I had a match where there were 7 tank destroyers. 6 on each side were FV4005s. And that is not good for the matchmaker. Dare I say possibly there needs to be more restraints and for putting, I know this would mess up the match, but it's like, yeah, maybe we should just have 2 tank destroyers like we do with 2 artillery. I don't know. It doesn't happen often, but those sort of matches do happen, and it is kind of unnerving to see half a team consist of one tank. But at least everyone can get this tank. It's easy to get. There's only 2 other tanks before, and I am demonstrating that whole one-shot delete here. I know it does suck to come around a corner and be looking down the barrel of the FV4005. It's even worse because of how easy it is for everyone to get this tank, to be coming around the corner and looking down a street and seeing 3 of them. I think that's kind of the unfortunate downside to what is a necessary evil. I can't hate the tank. I can't hate the game. Maybe I can hate the players, but it's not like it's the Wiesel or the Malot in Era 3. You need to use Hesh or HEP or HE. I don't think a lot of players are using that. Just aim around the mantlet and you can do some serious, especially from the sides or rear. This turret just melts under those type of rounds. It's not as fast as a Visel or as small, so you know you can lead your shot correctly and you will almost guarantee a hit. And it doesn't have the armor of the Malot, and you will be able to just usually pen it. Maybe the hull at certain angles, but it's one of those things, though. Yes, I understand prioritizing targets is getting to be a bit of an issue in Cold War mode, as you have to decide between, do I go with against the high alpha, the better armor tank, or the faster firing with probably going to pen me tanks. It's getting hard sometimes and overwhelming, and I think that's also why you might want to thank the FV4005, because I think ever since the British tank line came in, Wargaming, the console division, has been protecting Era 1 from a lot of questionable OP tanks, because basically the only tanks you can argue that are OP in this mode are the FV4005 and the T95E3. And you may say the FV4005 is bad for new player experience, but it may be both educating but also protecting the new player experience. It is an absolute double-edged sword. That's my opinion on this tank. Love it, hate it. I personally, I don't like how large it is. The mobility's fine. I don't like the long reloads. We'll see what the future holds for premium rounds, but yeah, having the Hesh is nice when it, you high roll, but I much prefer the Object 268. It's always fun to be in that tank and to bounce around from the FE4005. It's a little more tricky because it's not turreted, but I know having the power of, a god to just wipe a tank out with one shot is great. But as for me, it's not the tank I will take out when I'm in a bad mood and I want to make myself happy. It just doesn't scratch that itch for me. It's an interesting piece to have in the collection. I'd ask you to comment with your thoughts, but this tank's been around long enough in both modes. I pretty much know what you're gonna say. Yeah, I think we need the FV4005 in Air 1. It's the only thing that teaches new players how to, hopefully, it's not the best way to teach, but to be aware of your situation, use your cover, and it gets them prepared for Air 2, where you could have 5, 6 different type of tanks. Well, I say different, but there are tank destroyers, there are mediums, there are light tanks, and there are heavy tanks, all ATGM capable in Era 2, that if you're not prepared for that out of nowhere shot that puts you in the garage, that can be very jarring. So I just, hate me if you want, but I think the FV4005 is fine where it is. If you have the Object 120 and you still think the FV4005, now I'd really like to have a conversation with you, because, yep, Object 120, I have been penned from across the map in by the BMP-2 autocannon. And when that happened, I was like, forget it. Damn. I have, at 100 meters, bounced rounds off the back side of an FV4211 because just one stupid piece of kit on the back was considered to be like 10 millimeters of spaced armor. It is... Yep. I mean, maybe I haven't played the rock crawler, but I don't fear the rock crawler as much as I do the FV4005. But we'll see what the future holds. We've got a new tank line coming in. Weigh in down below. And keep your tracks on the ground. I hope the RNG is in your favor. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.